We all know the reality of riding. No matter how skilled you are constantly sharing the road with distracted drivers. If an accident happens, it's your word against a 4,000-pound vehicle. We need an unblinking, objective witness. So today I'm installing this Vantrue F1 dash cam system on my 2025 Honda Goldwing. I bought this with my own money. This is not a sponsored review. I just want that peace of mind that myself or my family has evidence if I'm ever in an accident. I bought this system because it's well known to be a tried and true dash cam. It comes with everything that I need, which is a head unit, 2 cameras, and a GPS transponder, and nothing that I don't need. My bike already is equipped with a CarPlay as well as TPMS. And my goal for today's video is to install it on this bike as efficiently and as quickly as possible so I'm not wasting your time or my time. The biggest problem with the Goldwing is, of course, this massive fairing system. So my goal for today is to get my wiring through the fairing by removing as little as possible and also having a very clean OEM install in the end. So let's get started by opening the saddlebag so we can access and remove this battery panel right here. Next, using a 6mm Allen key, I'm going to remove the first of 2 seat bolts. Pull this backrest off just to get it out of the way. I want to repeat that process over here on the right-hand side. Open the case, remove the side cover, and then also using that same 6mm Allen key, remove this seat bolt. I'm simply gonna pull it up and forward. This model has the heated seat, so I also need to consider removing this wire right here, which is the control for that heated seat. It's not super complicated, but you just got to get a good grip on it. Now that that's disconnected, I can pull the rest of the seat off. Next thing I want to do is go ahead and mount this camera right here to the front fairing. And before I pull off the adhesive, I'm going to grab a little bit of rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. I think the balance with this location is going to be making sure that my cables don't sink too low or hang too low out here, minimizing destructiveness while also having a clean install. So this right here, I'm going to go ahead and cut, and that'll give me all the flex I need to get that cable through. I did take just a few moments to flex this camera mount just a little bit. It's a nice flat base. The only risk, I need to be careful here about this camera hitting the top of my fender. After just a little bit of thought, I decided to go ahead and move it at least out of the main path of travel of the fender. This gives me a good fistful plus, maybe a fist and a half full of standoff. And if I really need it, there are a couple of screws. And this camera did come with just a few extra sets of tape. That way, if I do need to reposition it and I'm not satisfied with the current adhesiveness, I can reset it, no problem. And this is where the big money for today's install comes into play. There just happens to be a path. If you look here, I can see it with my eyes, but I cannot get the camera to look through and see it. And so all I need is something sufficiently long and hard to penetrate deeply into that hole. And I'm gonna use these 2 3/8" extensions. I also wanna give it a couple of wraps of electrical tape because I don't wanna take the fairing apart, and I worry that if this is not sufficiently secured, I may end up having to take the fairing apart anyways. Now I'm gonna add the coaxial cable, the camera cable. I'm also gonna wrap this a few times with some electrical tape. Again, I don't wanna lose it in there. And I am now ready to go deep with my rod. Just gonna slide it in there, nice and gentle. Maybe spin it a few times as I go in. I'm being careful also not to jam it. I don't wanna damage that. If I feel like I'm getting stuck, I'm gonna reposition a little bit. And if you just look in there in the center of the shot, you can see me spinning my little tool just a little bit. And if you can't hit it deep enough, of course, keep trying. I got it through exactly where I want it. And the next part is gonna be getting the wire from here to the other wire, which you can see just dangling right there, while keeping it clean and free from my steering system. There is just a little black bar right here, and I made sure to go on the outside of that That'll allow me to pass closer to the fairing. Just gonna ease it back, and that is sufficient. A metal hanger could, of course, be a more slender and possibly better tool for this job, but the rigidity of that extension allowed me to get it through and penetrate very deeply without it going limp or falling or flopping or any of that kind of weird stuff. If you liked my tip on how to get the deepest penetration into your Gold Wings fairing with a super long, super hard extension, give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, give me a thumbs up anyway. Let's get back to the video. So now there's really two paths I could take from this point. One would be to go below and around this fairing through the speakers and up to the front area. But actually, I'm gonna use this surface right here. And I apologize for the dirty bike here, but I do live on a dirt road and it takes me a lot of time to wash it. And so for me, my time is better spent just working on the motorcycle. And even with the airbag model, this thing is super easy to remove. You just lift up on those two pieces of fairing. Everything I'm doing here is also the mirror image on the other side. And they are actually not push pins. It has a small top hat. Simply pull the top hat and this side is essentially free to go. And drop your push pin deep in the motorcycle. I'm just gonna pop that forward and then pull it up out of the way. Before I actually secure it to its tunnel, I'm gonna snap. I actually want it to go up and over this metal bar, so let me reposition that. I also managed to get a service loop right here, so I'm confident that it's securely connected across several points where I need it to be, and it definitely will not interfere with the steering. I'm emphasizing this because this is the part of the job that you can't redo this without getting at least this deep back into it. Otherwise, the rest is gonna be super easy. The way I've got it mounted now, I do have a little bit of exposure right here. I'm not too concerned with that. There's actually just enough of a channel here that I can run my cable through these little channels. And I'm gonna use just a little bit of this super glue tape. And the two things that will be holding the cable in place is of course gonna be tension into this fairing at the top and the tape itself. I'm gonna put one zip tie on it right here. And of course, I don't need this excess sticking off here, so let me get my snipper in there and give it a little. So now that I've got that snipped up, I just wanted to show you there is more than enough cable remaining, regardless of where I want to mount that head unit for this system. I was worried there might be some potential for water or dust ingress because I saw this surface right here on the back and it looked like, hey, maybe there was a fan or something in there, but actually it is a sealed unit, so I'm comfortable putting this under my seat. I'm gonna drop it right here next to what appears to be my fuel sending unit, something like that. It's not gonna move on its own. They do recommend that you tape it down. As you can see, I have a lot of dirt and debris here from my dirt road. I'm fine with just leaving it here. Maybe even something like this so that it doesn't vibrate close to this channel or that connector. Now this is a very dangerous game I'm about to play with my fairing here because the wrong amount of tension could in fact break my bike here. I don't want to do that, but I need just a big enough gap to get her through. And that is all I needed. I'm just gonna pull the rest of this slack through. And one of the last things I'm really gonna be careful to take care of is gonna be securing all of this excess that I don't need, which I can't cut. I, of course, did not snake, this is your thumb control, while I had all that open. So I'm gonna do that off camera later, but I would have done that at the same moment that I passed through the camera cable earlier. Now it is time to get our power system installed. I don't have any fancy power distribution blocks. I don't have a problem with them. I just don't have one. So I'm gonna pull my fuse block cover, get this out of the way. And there are two small screws right here. And these are accessory screws. For this system, you have a ground and a battery positive. Those will of course go to your battery. In this case, I also have a fuse, so I'm not worried about going directly to the battery. And then this accessory on and off cable, I'm gonna route that here. And once those 3 wires are installed, I will have switched power without any fancy power blocks. Don't get me wrong, those power blocks do have their purpose, and I may eventually end up hooking one up anyway if I get lights or some other accessories, but for now, I'm just going cheap and simple, straight to the bike. For this next step, I will start with removing the ground cable. That way I can eliminate the risk of shock. Then remove my traction dynamics positive terminal, and then I'll wire the yellow accessory wire. And if everything went according to plan, I should be able to rotate into the accessory position and the camera should turn on as well.
Please insert a memory card. Wi-Fi on.
Well, that was a success. I'm excited. Now I've just got to get this rear camera mounted and we'll be able to test this thing out and see how the cameras perform. I'm going to end up mounting my rear camera right here on this piece. I want to remove this whole rear fender. There's 2 screws. They both use a 5mm Allen key. I'm just going to grip it and pull it straight back and off. That easy. This is another one of those situations where there's a hole that goes directly from here to where the battery terminal is. You can't really see it on camera, just trust that it's there. When you look at this in person, I can see the light at the right angle through this location. And it's really only about this much space. That's all you're gonna need to get your rear camera cable through to the rear fender. And to keep everything locked in, I just released about 2 foot of rear camera cable that I will snake through. That way I don't have to deal with all of this later. To facilitate this one, I snaked through that long, skinny screwdriver. I will show you in a few minutes here. Now I'm just gonna tape this camera cable to that screwdriver and then pull it through, and you're gonna see exactly how long it is. I ended up going from the top with a magnet, no problem. But there it is, very long magnet. I wanna clean off this surface right here. I'm gonna go for a 3/8 inch hole, just a little bit back here, not too far back, not too far forward. Try to make it somewhat centered. That is it. My 3/8 was just a tad too small, so I used a pocket knife and I bored it out just a little more. And now I'm gonna have to pull 2 screws off here just to snake it past that angle. Get this through the hole, and then I'm gonna pop it right back on. Now my little grommet job could have been better, but it's not necessarily meant to be watertight. And there we have the camera nice and mounted. I'm gonna connect this cable and just screw the 2 screws together. Don't forget to reconnect your license plate light. And now we can just pop our rear fender right back in place. There are several little tabs, there's 4 of them. Those tabs do most of the heavy lifting, and then the 2 screws just secure it from falling off while you're on the interstate. But there we go. Then we just need to reinstall these 2 5mm hex head screws. I will attempt to level these later when the bike is off the center stand. Try to get it somewhat level and then tighten it back down. Insert my SD card. Reinstall my lid, which does have 1 corner that is cut off, so I know exactly which direction it needs to go. I'm pretty satisfied with that install. It wasn't difficult really at all. Let me get some screen recording to show you guys how the cameras look on the bike. So right now I'm on my side stand. I've got a little bit of leveling to do. I'm not gonna go too in depth for today's video with the camera setup, but you have this kind of picture-in-picture effect. Like I'm gonna have to rotate that front camera just a little bit. That is exactly how you install the Vantrue F1 on a Goldwing. Give me a thumbs up and I'll catch you in the next video.